Okay, we're going to go through some basics in building a photo montage, and you can see on the screen here that I've already begun doing something. So let's take a look at the elements that are in here. Then we'll add a couple additional photos, and hopefully you'll do fine in creating your own. If we begin by taking a look at the image, you'll see that we have one large image in the background. I'll call that maybe my wallpaper. And then I've selected a couple additional images to set on top of that wallpaper. Generally speaking, for a montage, we want some type of unifying theme to it, and in this particular instance, we'll have the photographer, and the unifying theme is going to be a number of photographs of trees. So begin by taking a look over here at the layers palette, and you'll see that we have 3 layers completed already. We have our background layer, which is basically our wallpaper, and then you'll see we have layer 1 and layer 2, which are both of these images that we've put inside here. Okay, I'm going to turn the visibility off on layer 2, so there's that particular layer, and now I'll turn the visibility off on layer 1. So those are the 2 images that we've already copied and pasted in. The other thing you'll notice is that these images have a white border around it, so we may have to talk about how to create a white border as well. Let's go ahead and get started and put a couple other images in. Taking a look up at the top here, you'll see that this particular image is currently highlighted. That's what we're working on. And then as we go across, you're going to see a number of different photographs of additional trees. This one, which we've already placed in our montage. You can tell in part because you hopefully remembered the image, but if not, you see these little marching ants all the way around it, and we'll talk more about that in a second. And then the other image that we've already placed in. So let's go ahead and grab one of our other trees that we haven't worked on yet. And the very first thing we're going to need to do is create a white border for it. And that's pretty easy. We just go up to Image and Canvas Size. And you'll see currently that the picture is 10 by 10 inches. And I am going to put a 1/10 of an inch border all the way around it. So I'll make it 10.1 by 10.1. Take a look here. The canvas extension color is white. That's going to give us a white border. But we could make it black, we could make it gray, or we could create a different foreground or background color. We're going to leave it white. Taking a look at this icon, that shows you that we're placing our original image dead center, and we're going to build that 1/10 of an inch all the way around the edges. So we have it the way we want. We'll click OK, and there's the white border that we wanted around that photograph. The reason I chose a white border is hopefully so that it doesn't blend in with the background on the wallpaper as much. So now that we have our image and we have the white border on it, we now need to select that, and we'll hit Select and Select All. And there's those marching ants that we saw previously. That just means that Photoshop has now selected this entire image so that we can copy and paste it onto our wallpaper. So with those marching ants going around, I'm going to hit Edit and Copy. Now I'm going to go back to the wallpaper, which was the very first image there, and I'm going to hit Edit and Paste. You see 2 things right away. One, you'll see that this particular image is significantly larger than our wallpaper, which means it covered everything up, so we're going to obviously need to make it smaller. And if you take a look over here at the Layers palette, you'll notice that Layer 1 and Layer 2 has this little icon in the bottom right-hand corner, and yet Layer 3 does not. That's because we had already converted Layer 1 and Layer 2 to smart objects, and we need to do that with Layer 3. So to convert it to a smart object, I'm going to right-click on it, click on Convert to Smart Object, and there you'll see that little icon. And now we need to resize the image to what we think is appropriate and then drag it to a spot we want on the montage. So in order to resize it, I'm going to hit Edit and Free Transform, and you'll see that it's now put a bounding box all the way around that image, including some area in the gray because, again, this particular photo is considerably larger than our wallpaper was. When we resize this, we want to maintain proportionality, which means we're going to grab a corner and slide it in towards the center. However, if you just grab the corner and begin to slide, you can see that you could accidentally distort the image, which is obviously not what we want to do. So in order to maintain that proportionality, you're going to press and hold the Shift key on the keyboard, Again, if you take a look at your little icon up there, you want to see that double arrow, one pointing in towards the center, one pointing out towards the edge, as opposed to that icon. So we have that there. I'm pressing and holding the shift button, and I'm dragging this smaller to get it to a size, roughly speaking, of what we want. Once I get it there, I let up on the mouse, then I let up on the keyboard, and we can put our mouse pointer in the center and now move this to where we want. Now you'll notice that I have the other two images kind of cantered a little bit. I want to do the same thing with this image. So now if I put the mouse on the outside beyond that corner, I've got that arrow that's kind of at a right angle. That allows me to rotate this. So we're going to go ahead and rotate that to a position that we think we like. Maybe something like that. And maybe I'll make it just a little bit smaller in size. We'll bring that in some. And maybe bring this in a little bit. And kind of get it over. I don't mind the fact that the corner bleeds the edge there. I think that adds a little more dynamic nature to it. And then I hit the enter button to basically lock that in place. So now let's go grab our other image, which is up here. Again, we're going to start by putting a white border on it. So we click on image, canvas size. I'm going to again make it 1/10 of an inch, so 8.1 by 8.1. It's a white canvas extension color, and it's going to go all the way around the edges. There we go. And then we want to hit select all, edit, copy, go back to our wallpaper, and now we're going to hit edit and paste like so. Again, this is not a smart object yet, so the importance about making it a smart object is that your original scanned and or photographed image is what they call a raster image and not a vector image. And with a raster image, as you resize it, whether it's making it smaller or rotating it or flipping it, every time you resize it, you're losing some data. A vector image, you're not going to lose data. So you can go ahead and resize it as many times as you want and not worry about the picture starting to get pixelated. That's the real importance about using smart objects in your photo. So that's really important to remember to do. Once we get this positioned the way we want it, again, we're going to hit enter, and that's going to kind of lock it into place. So take a look at what we have here. Now we have 4 images, all of trees. We have the photographer with his camera and a tripod. So you have some sense of story going on here, what this photographer is doing. Looking at the layers palette over here, you'll see each one of those images that we put in is in a separate layer, and each one of them has this little icon on it to indicate that it was indeed a smart object, so we didn't lose any information as we were changing the size. I can't emphasize enough how important it is to convert that to a smart object, because you could conceivably get into this, and next thing you know, you wanted to add 5 or 6 more images, which means all of these will now need to make a little bit smaller in size, and every time you resize it, you're going to lose some data and increase pixelization. As I'm looking at it, I don't think I like the space in between this and this picture. I think I like it to be intersected. So I'm just going to go over here to the layers palette. I'm going to highlight what appears to be that image right here, and I'm just going to slide that up a little bit like so. All right. If it is the way you want, then all we need to do now is take this and save it. So we'll click on File, Save As. We'll decide where we want to save it. I actually have this file called 120 Trees, which was taken with 120 film. So we choose the file that we want to save it in. I want to save it as a Photoshop file, and I want to have this little box down here checked, telling us that it's going to preserve all the layers. So we will hit Save, and then we can just hit OK here. And that way, if I do decide that I either want to add images to it or change the layout at all, I can open it up as a Photoshop file and go in and re-edit it. So there you go. There are the little basics on creating a photo montage. They were indeed very basic. I hope you are considerably more creative than that. But good luck. I hope you build something really nice. Thank you.